Hello PhD candidates and postdocs, let's go through the evidence document checklist for I-485 application in this video. The first step is clicking the red subscribe button under this video. Now you are on the track of making a big saving on your immigration needs. Well, the USCIS does not need your subscription to my channel, but it encourages me to update videos. Now I am back to the serious talk. The evidence documents for I-485 differ depending on whether your I-485 is based on I-130 or I-140 and which subcategory of I-140. In this video, I will only discuss the documents supporting I-485 based on EB-1A and NIW. Other subcategories in EB-1, EB-2 and EB-3 require employer sponsorship. If you need help with application in these categories, you should seek help from the attorney hired by your employer. If you help with application related to EB-5, you are rich enough to hire an attorney. If you go to the USCIS website for I-485 evidence checklist, you see a long list with many items that you don't know what they are talking about. That's normal, because many of these items are irrelevant to your EB-1A or NIW-based I-485 application. I have highlighted the ones related for you. Now let's look at them one by one. First, 2 passport-style photographs. Straightforward enough. If you go to a photo center, such as those in Walmart or CVS, tell the staff that you need passport photos. The staff will do things right for you. But if you really want to know the specifications of these photos to be sure, check out this link. Although this link is for visa application, the same requirements apply. A copy of a government-issued identity document with photograph. In other words, the information page of your passport. A copy of your birth certificate. For most people from all over the world, you should contact the government or hospital in your home country to obtain such a certificate. Most countries can also provide a notarized English translation. If they don't, you can always go to a U.S. bank with which you have an account or even UPS store to notarize a translation translated by yourself. If you are concerned that such a translation is too informal, search online, find a translation service provider. If the provider is ADA certified, they usually can provide you translation with notarization. But I can really help little on that. But people from a few countries are not lucky enough to a copy of birth certificate easily. For example, those from certain areas in India. You can submit other evidence instead, such as medical records or school enrollment record in your home country. Those records should contain information on when and where you were born and who are your parents. Inspection and admission, or inspection and parole documentation. That's I-94 record. I-94 has go electronic nowadays. Here is the link to retrieve your I-94 record. Only the most recent record is needed. Documentation of immigrant category. For the EB-1A or NIW-based I-485, this documentation refers to I-140 approval or I-140 receipt, if your I-140 is pending. If you submit I-485 together with I-140, you don't need to submit this documentation. Evidence you continually maintained a lawful status since arriving in the United States. If you were a student, submit all of your I-20 forms and F-1 visas. You may have more than one of those. In this case, submit all of them, not just the most recent copy. If you or your husband or wife worked as a visiting scholar on J-1, provide the DS 2019 form and J-visa. If you worked on H-1B, L-1 or O-1 visa, provide the I-797 form and visa. If you changed your status within the U.S., you may not have a visa for certain status, then just don't submit things you don't have. Make sure there is no period greater than 180 days between each status can be proven by the documents mentioned above. A signed statement confirming you intend to work in the occupational field. If you have a job offer is enough. If you are not working temporarily, write something describing what you plan to do in near future. Documentation regarding J1 and J2 exchange visitor status. This only applies to certain J1 and J2 visa holder. Some J visa requires the holder to go back to their home country for certain years before they can immigrate to the U.S. If you haven't do so and do not intend to do so, before submitting I-485, you need to waive the foreign residence requirement. This documentation refers to the notification showing that you have obtained the waiver for foreign residence requirement. I think I am not go into details on how to get the waiver, because it is another complex question. I will try to explain in another video. At last, there is one thing not mentioned in this official checklist but will be essential to get a green card. This is the medical examination result, the so-called I-693 form. You don't fill this form out and I cannot teach you how to, because this is what a doctor does. Go to Google, search immigration medical examination. There will be a number of doctors' names show up in the research results. Just pick one close to you. Their services and prices does not differ much. There are a lot of documentations. You surely can shove them into an envelope with the I-485 form. But remember, you are dealing with human beings and the USCIS officers are busy. How willingly would be a busy human officer to give you an easy approval if he has to sort things out from a pile of messy documents? Put a cover letter and have everything organized tidily. Here is a sample cover letter. You can be creative with the cover letter, but remember to keep it clear and concise.